Hi everyone, Matt from Quinton Apple here. I'm going to walk you through some step-by-step instructions on how to make the Rhubarb Sour from our most recent seasonal cocktail box, and also give you a couple of tips on making craft cocktails in your home bar. So our first step with this cocktail is to get zest and juice from the lime that's in your box. So in order to get zest from a lime, or an orange or a lemon, it's the same process. What I do is I take a paring knife and actually start on one end of the lime and just kind of gently pull towards myself. I use a little bit of a sawing motion. You know, when I come just under the skin of the lime and pull off about 1.5 to 2 inch strip of lime zest. If you don't feel comfortable doing that with a knife, you can use a vegetable peeler as well, just like, a carrot peeler. And that'll work just fine. So we have our zest here, and we can just set that aside because we're going to use that as garnish at the very end. So the other thing we need from this lime is juice. So basically we're going to cut the lime in half and just squeeze the juice out. I'm just using my hand. You can use a citrus juicer if you want. You can usually expect to get about 1 ounce of juice out of a lime. So that's enough for this cocktail to make 2 cocktails. I'm just going to squeeze both halves here to make sure we have enough. We have a little extra. So we're done with our lime. We set that aside. We have our juice and our zest. So our next step is to make the base of the cocktail. So we're going to chill our glass, which is where the base is going to end up. And while this step isn't strictly necessary, it's a nice thing to do to get your glass nice and cold. You put the ice in now, so while you're making your cocktail, the glass chills. That way when you pour your cold cocktail in there, it doesn't warm up at all. So that's a nice little thing to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build the base of our cocktail in our cocktail shaker. And we start with that by adding ice to our shaker. You want to add a fair amount. You want to kind of really fill up your shaker because your ice is both kind of your stirring tool inside of the shaker as you're shaking it, and it's going to really chill it down a lot and bring the temperature down really far, which is what we want. So we have our ice in there. Now we're going to measure out all of our ingredients except for the tonic, which will go in at the end. So first ingredient is rhubarb hop syrup from us at Quinton Apple, and we're going to measure out 1 ounce. And what I have here is, this is a cocktail jigger. Many of you will have this or at least recognize it for your home bar. It's just a measuring device, basically. I have 1 ounce on the top here, and then I have ½ ounce on the other side. Some jiggers may have different amounts. They should have them printed on there. But if you don't have one of these at home, you can use a tablespoon, actually. So a tablespoon is equal to ½ ounce. So when it calls for 1 ounce, use 2 tablespoons. And that's an easy kind of alternative if you don't have a jigger. So we have that. Next we're going to come and do our lime juice. We have ½ ounce of lime juice. Okay. And then we're going to add our gin. We have a Death Door gin here. This is from Door County. It's really nice in this cocktail. It's a Wisconsin gin. But if you don't have access to Death Door, if you don't have Death Door, you can use really kind of any premium gin. So I'm going to add 1.5 ounces of this. Okay. So our last step is to add our bitters. This is from Bitter Cube Bitter in Milwaukee. We're going to add 4 drops. Pretty strong stuff, so you don't want to add the whole dropper full or anything like that. But it provides kind of a nice additional flavor to this cocktail, makes it nice and complex. So we have everything in there. We'll close up our shaker, and we're going to give it a good shake. You want to shake it for 5-10 seconds, and you really want to shake it pretty hard. You don't want to kind of just give it a little shake because, like I said, you really want to incorporate all those ingredients together. The syrup can be a little thick, and you want to make sure that everything's fully combined and totally chilled. So that's important. My shaker here has a strainer built in. You just pop off the top here, and we're going to strain it into our glass. If your shaker doesn't have that, you can pour it through a strainer. You can hold the ice back with a spoon. Doesn't really matter. But the trick here is that you're trying to keep the ice inside of the shaker that you just shook it with. So we poured it over the ice that we were using to chill our glass. So we have our base in here now. And our last step is to put in the tonic water to give it just a little bit of carbonation. So we're using Q-Tonic tonic water here. It's a really nice premium tonic. It's actually made in Brooklyn. So what we're going to do here is, your recipe says 2 ounces. But really the easiest way to do this is to pick your glass that you want to use, make your cocktail in it, and then fill it up with tonic water. For the glass that I'm using here today, it's about 2 ounces. So 1.5, 2 ounces is usually what it'll work out to be, but you don't have to measure it exactly unless you want to. So I'm just going to pour this in here, right to the top. And then the last step here is, right now the tonic is all floating up on the top, and so we're going to stir this together just to make sure it's all combined. We take our lime zest, and we're all done.